So wanted to go over my reaction of last night's episode. But before that, I recently posted a video update on the feeds. Apparently, while the feeds were down the day before yesterday, there was a lot of chatter about getting Ian on the block. And obviously there are those in the house, Cody, Memphis, who would obviously get rid of Ian instead of Tyler, and that was explicitly said. So I'm really scared for Ian. I thought he wasn't going to see the block this week because of the DR informing them to stop talking about Ian, but it's looking more and more like a possibility, especially since Day will probably use the veto. I cannot imagine her not using it. I think she's already told Kevin, you know, what's gonna happen. Of course, there are gonna be those who try to convince her. Danny doesn't want her to use it. Nicole doesn't want her to use it. Nicole is really pushing for Ian to stay. Honestly, if she wasn't pushing for Ian to stay, she would even be in more hot water. All right, so Christmas mentioned that from a game standpoint, her HOH was a success. I don't think so, and I don't think she's fully realized that it really wasn't all that successful. She was doing other people's dirty work. She'll probably realize this after the fact. They did show a Day in Christmas kind of makeup session. They, you know, seem like they're on good terms, but then they showed Day's DR and she's like, yeah, no, first chance I get, she's going up on the block. I'm like, yeah, I figured. If Christmas honestly believes that she's cool with Day, I don't know what to tell her. Obviously, you put her on the block and sent her biggest ally home, so why would she be okay? Especially when, you know, that whole Tyler situation happened and she didn't want to put Tyler on the block. So seeing that Ian really wanted to win the HOH made me sad, especially knowing that there's a good possibility he will go home this week without really doing much. I wanted him to do something before he left. I actually saw Jacers live on Instagram, and they were talking about how they're rooting for Ian and Day, and it just warmed my heart. I'm such a clown. I thought Day was actually sad about losing the HOH, but she was like, yeah, these are fake tears, so I think she deserves an Oscar for that. I know other people saw through it, but looking at the pictures on Twitter, I actually thought she was sad and that she really wanted to win it. That BB water must be freezing. Danny shaking. It was so uncomfortable to watch. A big portion of this episode was this HOH comp, which I usually happens when it's endurance, but since you already know what happens, it's really not all that exciting to watch. I think these things are way more exciting when you don't know, and I'm glad that they actually showed this on the feed so we were able to watch along. Tyler looked really scary, hunched over. He was obviously in pain. There's a lot of talk that he's lost a lot of weight and he's just not in a good place mentally. He wants to go home. He said that he will not go to jury, that he refuses, which, I mean, it's part of the game, so I don't know, but I don't know what he's going through either. So Danny's relief was so obvious when Tyler fell, which is crazy to me that, like, you know, she wants to get Tyler out, so get him out. Don't put Ian next to him because it's not gonna happen. Put someone like Memphis or Enzo up, and worst comes to worst, if she puts Memphis up and he goes home, oh well. I mentioned earlier that I wasn't sure if Nicole and Cody threw it because I thought maybe they'd want this HOH, but the more that I see the way this HOH is going, you know, and they mentioned in the DR that they didn't want to win it, which is obvious because they don't want to show their cards and put up anybody in their alliance, and it's so much easier just to have Danny deal with it. This episode really wasn't all that exciting considering what happens after this. You know, it didn't show David's power, it didn't show the veto, which, you know, we'll see more of the interesting stuff, I guess, Tuesday, since Wednesday there won't be an episode. So yeah, I like the LGBT conversation with Kevin and how he's wondering if he's portraying them well and self-love. It was nice, you know. I think they're trying to throw in some of these combos in there, more of these deep conversations since Kaser has left. So yeah, apparently there was another wall yeller and feeds went down. I definitely think they're sending a message that, you know, stop interfering or we will cut the feeds, you know. So it sucks because I'm sure there's a lot of talk going on about Renom. So yeah, and the whole scramble and the whole whatever, so I guess we'll see today. All right, so I have a not so great update. Well, actually, I guess it depends on who you're rooting for. Veto ceremony happened. Day used the veto as suspected. You know, I think it would have been a not so smart choice not to use it. I know Kevin can be all over the place, but Kevin is a number for her, and they were planning on blindsiding her and getting Kevin out. So she put a wrench in their plans. Danny really tried to pull out all the stops to not get this to happen. Nicole's obviously upset, but it really is looking like Ian's gonna go home. I don't think there's really much he can do. Cody wants him out. I don't know what Ian can possibly do or say to change his mind. They want to keep Tyler around, especially since Ian, Kevin, David are still in the house. They feel like they don't really have to take a shot at Tyler yet, which, I mean, I'm like, Tyler may very well take a shot at you before you're able to take a shot at him. So it sucks. I'm really unhappy about this. I have yet to have a good week. I thought this was going to be a good week since day one veto, and I thought because of the warning production gave them that they weren't going to put Ian on the block, but I'm a clown obviously, so I haven't had one good week. And I think I'm the problem because whoever I like goes home. So I'm just gonna stop liking people, stop rooting for them, just gonna be neutral. I think that's the safest bet. So yeah, I was really hoping that Ian was gonna be able to make a move, do something this season. I wanted him to show people what a good player he is, but it's not gonna happen. I guess maybe there'll be a jury battle back, but I don't know. I'm not holding out for it because I've thought other things would happen. I thought maybe Janelle or Kaser would have had a shot to come back. Even in the beginning, I thought maybe Keisha. I didn't think they were all going to be sent home. So yeah, it's just looking like an Ian eviction. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on what's going on, and yeah.